What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be hitting a full chest and tricep workout. And I'm also going to kind of take you along to show you what I'm eating throughout the day, and how like a typical Thursday, it's Thursday, so Thursday's chest day for me, how a typical Thursday kind of goes. So on Thursdays, I'm doing sort of mid-morning workout. So I usually get to the gym around 10:30 or 11. So I really don't eat anything until I eat my pre-workout meal. So I usually eat that like an hour to an hour and a half before I go to the gym. Let's make some food. So there you go, here's our pre-workout meal. We've got our lean turkey with salsa, that's our main protein source. We got our shake here with casein and whey in it. And then we've got oats and a banana. That's gonna be our main carb source. That's gonna fuel our workout. So I'll throw up the macros on the screen with a shot of this, and then I'll see you again when we're taking our pre-workout. Give it about 30 minutes before our first working set. So we want to be at the gym hitting our first working set 30 minutes from drinking this. So yeah, we'll see you at the gym. So the first thing I do when I get to the gym, I usually jump on a Stairmaster or a stationary bike for about 5 minutes. Getting the blood moving in your body is just going to help with your pump, but it's also going to help prevent injuries. So after that 5-minute warm up on chest day, I head over to the cable machine. I'm just trying to get the blood moving in my chest at this point. I'm going to hit 3 different kind of flies here. Now these aren't working sets, these are just warm ups, but I'm going to hit a high to low fly for about 20 reps. Take a second, stretch out my chest. Then I'm going to hit a mid fly and do the same between those sets. And then after that, I'm going to drop it down and hit a low to high fly without any D handles. I'm just going to grab the ends of the cable machine here. Now the goal of these movements is just to flood our chest with blood before we hit our main compound movement. So I'm moving on to a heavy incline press here. And before I get into any working sets, even though we've already done a warm up, I'm going to hit 2 sets, pyramiding up to my first working set, which is 225 at 8 reps. After that set, on heavy compound movements, I usually take about 3 to 4 minutes rest in between sets. After that first working set of 8 reps at 225, I'm going to move up to 245 and hit 5 reps at 4 more sets. So I like to break my chest into sections when I'm thinking about training. So I usually start with an upper chest movement, and from there hit a lower chest movement, heavy lower chest movement. And so we're going to move on next and hit a decline press. I've been really utilizing heavy machine presses lately for chest, just in the past couple months, and I've seen like some insane results from doing that. My chest should be pretty warm at this point, so I'm going to do just 1 warm-up set before diving into 4 working sets here on the decline press. Now you can see here I'm going pretty close to failure, so it's probably an RPE of 9, and that's what I'm shooting for on these. And on my incline that I did first, I was shooting for an RPE of around 8. So leaving 2 reps in the tank, with this one leaving 1 to close to 0 reps in the tank. So I'm moving on to an incline press machine here. I know I've already hit a heavy incline bench press. I'm just going to hit 3 sets here at around 8 to 10 reps with a little bit lower RPE, somewhere around 7 or 8. And I'm doing this because I'm trying to focus on building my upper chest. I'm going to do these really slow and under control, pausing at the bottom of the movement here to get a stretch and kind of make this a little bit more difficult, but really focusing on time under tension with these 3 sets. Okay, keep it at heavy. We're going to move on to weighted dips. Now, I have a belt specifically for this. Depending on my energy levels at this point, I'm going to hit 4 or maybe 5 sets of these. And so I'm shooting for around 8 reps. That's the last like truly heavy movement for the day. We're going to move on to doing some flies next. Sometimes I do these with cables, but again, for the sake of progressive overload, I think using the machine here is going to allow you to put more weight on. The biggest mistake I probably see with these is people keeping their arms straight out on the eccentric. You're going to want to have that 90 degrees in your elbows, more of a 90 degree in your elbow as you come back. That's going to keep tension on your chest the entire time. If your arms are straight out, that's going to shift the focus more to your biceps. And we're not trying to hit biceps today on chest day, so keep that bend in your elbow on the eccentric as you come backwards. Lying forward, I think about bringing my pinkies together at the top of the movement. I usually hit these for 3 sets at somewhere between 10 to 15 reps. Moving on to another fly movement. Here I'm trying to target my lower chest with a high to low fly. I like to use the multi-flight machine for this, but I often do these with cables as well. Same sort of cue as the last flies. You want to keep that bend in your elbow at the top of the movement to keep tension on your chest the entire time. And really focusing on like sort of supinating your wrists outward and bringing your pinkies together at the bottom of the movement. Squeezing with your chest is really the best cue. That's helped me feel that mind-muscle connection with these. At this point, my chest is pretty much smoked. I'm going to move on to doing triceps. And I'm going to start these with a press down. I usually grab an extended rope. I know a lot of gyms don't have like one giant rope, so if you can get away with it, maybe use 2 ropes for these. I've got just a slight lean forward here in my upper body, and I'm focusing on pressing down and out in front of me, just slightly turning my wrists outward at the top of the movement. Here you can see, as I do that, you can see my triceps engage. And as the reps go on here, you can see I kind of bury my head in pain. But I'm shooting for an RPE of 8 or 9 with these, really close to failure. And on the last rep, as I lock out, I just like to hold that as long as I can before letting the weight come back down. Moving on, I'm going to hit some sort of overhead extension. I sometimes do these with cables, but this machine allows me, again, to really progressively overload, to add more weight than I would and be a little bit more stable than I would if I was just standing up at a cable machine doing some overhead pressing. Again, I'm going pretty heavy with these, keeping it intense, going for an RPE of 8 or 9. 4 sets of these, somewhere between 7 to 10 reps. Following that up, I like to go over and hit a single arm press down, and I remove the D handles, no attachments here, just grabbing the end of the cable pulley and taking a step back so you're about an arm's length away from the machine. Now, you don't want to see too much plate in your elbow here. You can see that my elbow is pretty stationary throughout the entirety of the movement. Now it's okay to have a little bit of movement as you return the weight back down to get a good stretch on your tricep. But for the most part, you want your elbow to be pretty much stationary. And I typically do these 3, maybe 4 sets if I have enough energy and I feel like I can do it for somewhere between 8 to 12 reps. And then lastly, I like to finish up with a seated press down. And I know not every gym has this machine, so if you don't have access to this machine, I would just do some sort of close grip bench. I love this machine for burning out my triceps here. It's my last movement, and I'm going to go pretty heavy. 4 sets at like 8 to 10 reps here. And it's cardio day, so after all of that, I'm going to hop on a Stairmaster for somewhere between 30 to 40 minutes, depending on, what phase I'm in. So if I'm cutting, it's usually a little bit longer. And I really just sort of set a calorie burn goal, not necessarily a time. And I track that on my Apple Watch just to know, bam, I want to hit 500 calories burn or 600 calories burn in this session. And I just shoot for that as a metric. So there we have it. That's a full chest day. We're just eating our post-workout meal now. We've got 200 grams of lean turkey with some ketchup. We've got a rice cake with some peanut butter, and we've got our protein shake with a half cup of casein and a half cup of whey. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you next time.